to do with the law, the law as it's expressing itself in Torah, which על שלישים ועל רביעים, או רביעים, כמו שצריך לומר. It speaks about when it's called in Hebrew עליון ועלי עליון. Okay, it's the grandfather and mother are in relation to Zon, or in relation to the spirit that brings up prayer. They're not trying to sort of go into the higher state only. They are causing the higher state to connect to the higher. So it's always three stages. Meaning, because I'm going straight into the world of Reformation, which is Atzilut. Usually, if I go to my higher, what it means, my higher, if I recognize darkness or something that has to do with a dark state of me, that is not, that has to do with recognition of how, through what the higher can call upon me, which is to do from Tzimtzum Bet. Because when Bina, which is the mother, extend herself to the son and daughter, she's allowing them to be pulled to her, okay? So when they are included in her, they are more to do with her state. And her state is she cannot have the light, her full light, unless she's calling from above to actually it's coming from eternity. She pulls light in order to allow her to actually help the daughter and son, Malchut and Zeranpin, that she raised up into herself. It means, in spiritual terms, that mother and father cannot raise the child without a grandfather or a grandmother. Spiritually, we know that in reality, it's more to do with the Russian way of life here in Israel. Usually, the grandmother is sort of growing, is the power that actually raise up the grandchildren. Okay, but this is something else. But this is why the true help is coming from the third generation to the third in genealogy, because at the end, this is where the father and mother are drawing power from, because it's we say the lower, the higher, and the source of the higher, or the root of the higher. So all those three need to work. Okay, yeah. So it's coming from that law. So when we enter the law of the spirit always acts through three stages. You can see soul, pneuma, or ruach, and spirit. Nefesh, ruach, neshama. Yes, soul. You don't have ghost in English, like the Holy Ghost. So it's soul, ghost, and spirit. Actually, what gives life to the soul is the spirit. It's through the ghost, through the parent. But actually, it's not the parent that gives life. It's the grandparents that gives life. You understand? In spiritual terms, in spirit. So it's naran. It's always nefesh, ruach, neshama. Okay, this is why the power of prayer, of the higher, has to do more with with the root of the produce. Yeah? The prayer of the grandfather and grandmother is more powerful than the prayer of the mothers and father. Yeah, because they're closer in terms to the need, to the spiritual need of the soul. They need the spirit, not the ghost. Is it clear? Okay, I gave you two ways to enter it, because in order that there will be no more breaking or shattering of the world or shattering of the spirit, the Reformation world has a state of constancy and a state of actually ability to bestow. Okay? Ability to bestow reformation. So in order to bestow reformation, and we are at a point for all humanity when we read this portion of Bo, is that it is said that without the illumination of the world of Atzilut, of the world of reformation, there's no redemption ever. So it's the time of going above the high. It's actually aiming to the spirit as a pivot. Okay, yes. It's to do with this. Why actually? We have to persuade Pharaoh in Egypt? Why actually the Creator need to persuade Pharaoh to actually let go, let my people go? It's not only Israel. Let my createes go. Okay. This is basically, now if there's not a possibility for Egypt to redeem itself, at least part of humanity could redeem itself, at least as setting up a possibility. And specifically in this portion, we go for the three higher settings of what we call Sfirot. We're going into Keter, Chokhmah, and Binah. And this is, Binah is to do with the locus because it covers, it's a darkness that covers earth. It is said that it covers the eye of the earth. And then there is darkness, which is actually to do with Chokhmah, which separates the power that connects our perception or Egypt, not Egypt as Egyptian, Egypt as a concept, yeah, as a concept of high civilization. It actually breaks the ties of a common perception. This is why it says that in that darkness, they could not actually see each other. They could not see actually their brothers. Yeah, and when you break that, you actually break the ties that held the perception of enslavement. And then there is the firstborn, the plague of the firstborn. And firstborn is actually a test. And this is why there is a break. Yeah, there is a break, and then we are given 3 precepts. Everyone who would hold those 3 precepts, which are to do with leavened bread, matzah, with a bitter, with this that will allow us to accept the bitterness of of recognizing slavery in ourselves. And then for the last is to do with tefillin. So they were given those tefillin. Okay. They were given because tefillin is how to tie oneself. So it is actually sort of a revelation that a state or a form of what is called Israel, what is real, and how one can tie itself to the purpose of the Creator, was always held the name Israel. And everyone who will adapt to that kind of action, which is tefillin, is actually taking an Egyptian ornament that was used to actually draw wisdom, which was the snake around the head standing up, with the head standing up. But to tie that which draws it, which is the left hand, to tie it to a new heart. So you can draw wisdom, but your heart or your will is actually in service to an opposite action, not to draw it into oneself, but to raise it up as a need. So if we act like this, we act like the firstborn of the Creator. So this is the three that actually sort it out. So you see that the three, meaning sorting out, coming from what is covering the earth, which is this generation, need to be tied to the first purpose through sorting out. The sorting out is through the parents, maror. Okay. Yeah. The sorting out is through the parents in order to connect to the third, to tefillin. So it's in everything. Okay. Yes. It's a third line. Actually, you're working in 3 lines. Okay. So working in 2 lines is actually is causing only conflict. This is why there is conflict in the world, because we work in 2 lines and not in 3 lines.